Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Boise Beat exclusive. We are super excited for our guest that we have on deck with us here today. None other than the multifaceted Siobhan Fallon Hogan. And if you don't know who she is, you're going to love her after you get done with this. We're going to talk shop, not just about her career, but about what she's got on deck that's going to be getting released here pretty soon. You're going to be stoked and grateful that she jumped on board here with us. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on board. Siobhan, how you doing today?
Gordie, I'm great. Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You got it. You got it. First of all, before I get to the meat and potatoes, no pun intended with Idaho or anything like that. But before I get into the main reason why I wanted to bring you on here, I want to talk a little bit about your illustrious career that spanned over 2 decades, right? You've had some pretty phenomenal roles with films such as Men in Black and Forrest Gump, and memorable character features with SNL, Seinfeld, list goes on, right? What's the secret sauce to you, in having a long-term career in this industry?
Honestly, I just, it's my passion and I love acting and I love entertaining people. So I really didn't have any other choice. I always thought, I wish I could think of something else I'd be happy at. So, when I was in my 20s and no one wanted me. I was like, they were like, you'll grow into your look and your voice when you're 40. And I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, I thought that was like, ancient. So
Yeah.
I literally started writing my own works. I never did stand up, but I did like character work. And so it's kind of continued. It's actually been 35 years that I
Oh,
started.
wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. So, wow, 3 decades. That's
Yeah.
phenomenal. Yeah, and so in that time frame, I mean, you've also been able to collaborate with other icons in the industry, such as Tim Burton, Woody Allen, etc. How have those experiences influenced not just your acting, but going into the writing side of it now?
Yeah. Well, I've been really lucky and I've been really picky, but because I really had no right to be as picky as I was over the years. But like after I wrote my own works, I would just get, I would say to my agent, I was early on in my career, I was like, if I didn't like the material, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. It's not worth it.
Mhm.
So, like I did Seinfeld and I worked with Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David early on. That was great. And SNL opened up so many doors for me. And
Mm.
then, like Men in Black, Barry Sonnenfeld, I worked with him twice. If I'm not like a diva, so a lot of times when
Uh-huh.
you work with people and you're easy to get along with, and I love being on a set. To me, it's not like working. Then
Mm.
they want to have you back. So I've done 3 movies with Lars von Trier. I've worked with Barry Sonnenfeld, Men in Black a couple times, and Robert
Mm.
Patrick actually, who's in both my movies. He's
Yeah.
in what I wrote, Rushed. He played my husband. My new movie, Shelter in Solitude, that's coming out October 6th. He plays my brother. So I'm all
Wow.
about like loving the people that I work with, and I just feel really grateful and
Yeah.
really fortunate that I've been able to work with such great people over the years.
I bet. Yeah, that's great. Speaking of Shelter in Solitude, which is coming up October 6th, want to talk a little bit about that and discuss, what kind of was the motivation or the inspiration to get such a film in place?
Well, so I never wrote a film until my youngest daughter of 3 kids was going off to college. And basically, I was like, I better do something because I'm not domestic. I can't clean. I can't cook. So I've been in enough movies over the years that maybe I can give a shot at writing a movie. And
Mm.
so I wrote my first movie, Rushed, which came out in 2021. And it's, was in a lot of theaters and it's on, you can rent it now on Amazon and a lot of streamers. And has 90% Rotten Tomatoes. And so I
Mm.
honestly, it's like it's really hard to do a movie because
I bet.
once you do it, people always think it's just the shooting of the film. And
Mm.
honestly, we shot my new film, Shelter in Solitude, in 16 days, which is crazy when you see the
Wow.
movie. But the
Yeah.
post production, that takes 6 months to 9 months.
Right.
The editing and making it right and getting the sound and the color. And then now is the really rough part where you got to get it out there. Well,
Mm.
so it was 1 month after we finished Rush, the edit, and we had sold Rush. Rush was going to be coming out 2 years ago right now. And this idea came to me in the middle of the night. It was literally like a miracle. It sounds crazy, but it really was. My dad was an attorney and he was a really funny, great guy. And I'm one of 5 from upstate New York, Syracuse. It's not like New York City at all. It's rural and great.
Mhm.
And he would talk about these prisoners that he worked with. So
Mm.
I was like kind of obsessed. I was the second of the 5, and I was like, what is it like in there? And every time I went by a big prison, I was like, what are they doing in there? It must be awful. And then in addition to that, I always loved to sing. So I wanted to be in musical theater when I was, first went to New York City, but my voice really wasn't good enough. And I can dance, but I wasn't a trained dancer. So my dad was always like, you should be a country singer. So anyway, one night somehow this idea comes to me like, what if a country singer, like, so I play a washed up wannabe country singer in the movie. who's
Wow.
only sang in Nashville once. So
Uh-huh.
I run this bar and I'm just like I'm kind of cougar wannabe. I got a lot of problems, but deep down I have a good, strong faith and I'm want to do good for others. So I end up as this prison guard for a guy on death row for 10 days. And I'm
Mhm.
this guy's worst nightmare. Like, what? This woman's babbling like I am now. She's singing to me. But anyway, they form this beautiful bond and crazy, Gordie. But
Right.
my husband and my son and I started a production company, I mean, just distribution company, and we distributed. We got picked up by AMC,
Wow.
Regal, all these chains. We're going to be all over from Honolulu to Arkansas, the entire
That's
country.
phenomenal.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. It's like a miracle. I'm telling you, and I'm so grateful. And I
Wow.
can't wait for people to see it because we've had a couple of sneak previews, and we were at the Boston Film Festival. And we won Best Actress, Best Cinematography, and people are loving it. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. I really feel it's something that America needs right now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of those accolades that you're speaking to right now, that's very recent that that's came out. Like, how do you feel like relishing in that moment that you're getting those kind of accolades already?
Well, I'll tell you what, Gordie, I'm long in the tooth now. I've been doing this for 35 years, but my kids, it's a family affair. My son is a producer. He's only 25. He's also a music supervisor. So he introduced me
Amazing.
to the guys in in Nashville. Justin Biltonen from Three Doors Down. I sang one of his songs. Todd Cameron.
Wow.
My daughter Sinead is a production designer. She's 21, pardon me. She is also an actress in it. So I said to them, listen, guys, do
Yeah.
not let this go to your head. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Right.
What you do in life, you should never think, hey, I'm somebody. As they say in New
Sure.
York City, I'm somebody. She thinks
Uh-huh.
who she is. But it's all about, sharing your gifts to me. And you never let it go to your head. Like I was on SNL. I remember walking out of there, people were like, hold, let me take your picture, take your picture. I get recognized a lot. In the scheme of life, that's not what matters,
Sure.
but I've been around long enough. When you're up, you're up. When you're down, you're down. In this business that I'm in, people will be like, oh, she's done. She hasn't done a good movie in like a year. But then you have a great movie. They're like, oh, I love you again. But it's the real people. That's why I
Mm.
was so excited. Like when I look at the map and I think of all the places that the movie's going to be in. And I've worked
Mhm.
in a lot of states over the years, like Nebraska and crazy. So I'm just so happy that this story, which is about friendship, loyalty, redemption,
Mhm.
kindness, is going to get to people all over the United States, not
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
I just feel just grateful and blessed and thankful. And so I'm just and the thing is, people like you who will support it and, have me on and let me talk about it. We need these independent films to get out there and
Absolutely.
to tell our story so that people support us. Because
Yeah.
we don't have the millions behind us for marketing, but
Right.
we're like the little engine that could. And so far, knock on wood, so good. I mean, we're all over the country October 6th.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, so exciting. Definitely when I heard about this, I was like, I need to definitely reach out and see
Yeah.
if I can get her on
And I'll
board
tell
here.
you, Gordy, on Regal and AMC, they're already selling the tickets in advance, and it's
Yeah.
really selling great because it's so different. I suppose it's just like this African American prisoner and
Mhm.
this kind of washed up loser country singer, and people might think like when they go to see the movie, and Robert Patrick from the Terminator,
Uh-huh.
from Walk the Line, he plays my brother, the
Yep.
warden in it, and his wife has left him, so it's these three lonely people. And
Wow.
you would
Interesting.
think, oh, because my character sets out to really help and teach this prisoner.
Mm.
He really is the hero of the story. Peter Macon, who plays the prisoner with 10 Days Left to Live,
Interesting.
he's
Okay.
really the beautiful. I mean, this is an Oscar performance that he gives. He's
Wow.
unbelievable.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
phenomenal. I wanna touch base a little bit on the relationship between the character that you play and the prisoner. So, can you
Yeah.
elaborate a little bit for listeners because they get
Sure.
to see that if they haven't, but yeah, I wanna
Sure,
talk a
sure.
little bit.
So my dad had told me so much about so many prisoners over the years. Now, my sisters are attorneys, and when we went to find the jail, the location in Syracuse, it was this defunct jail, and I got to talk to a former prison guard, and he told me a lot about, it's awful. I mean, they're in these
Mm.
teeny cubicles, living like animals. Okay, now a lot of people did what they deserve what they got, but there's a lot of prisoners that should not be in there for at
Sure.
all, or not as long as they should be. Then
Yeah.
again, the prison guards are people too. So you have
Right.
all these people that, were babies at the same, we all came into this world not having, damages and
Anything.
scars.
Yep.
So basically, my character goes in there thinking, I'm going to save the day with this guy.
Hmm.
But does a guy with 10 days left to live want to talk? Well, the answer is no.
Right.
So
Hmm.
it's very interesting. I think the audiences have really loved that. I am like trying to get at this guy, trying to chip away, but he'll have no part of me. So it's a
Mm.
real challenge and a story of, is she going to break this guy? Is he going to actually break down? And then I'm not going to give anything away, but the
Yeah.
beautiful relationship that comes out of it.
Yeah.
And so,
That's
yeah.
wow. That's so cool. Yeah.
And
If
it's cool for like, it's some people are like, is it faith-based? Or some people are like, or is it for people that don't believe in God? Or is it both? Or is it
mm,
so, it's like, but it is really a story of human kindness. And yes, definitely faith. And each person teaches the other.
mm,
It's like what America needs now. It's like if you start to really listen, we could all start to move ahead and like get along. Like where have we gotten that we're so separated? But this story, like we did it, a sneak preview up in Syracuse, and as I said, we were in Boston and a couple of festivals, and across the board, no matter what people's political beliefs were or what religion or cultural background, it was this common thread that you're laughing your head off and then you're crying. And
mm.
it's both. And people are like, Siobhan, how is it that it's so insanely funny and then the next minute you're crying? Well, always say, I grew up in a really funny family, but we were not spared our share of tragedy, and terrible things happen to funny people. And then
Right.
it's how do they deal with it? Well, you still have humor. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Plus, when I
Yeah.
say faith-based, like Robert Patrick, who I was telling you about from the Terminator, and
Hmm.
Ben Castellaneta, who's also Homer Simpson, is in it. And the thing is that I'm sorry, that's I'm staying in
Very
California.
good.
My kids, I think, are over there. Anyway, so long and the short of it is that, like Robert said to me, I never wanted to do I always wanted to do a faith-based movie, but I didn't want to do something icky where the people are so perfect that you
Sure.
feel badly about yourself. Like, what the
Yeah.
heck? That person's like
Right.
perfect. Well, my character's so flawed. She like drinks too much. She's a cougar wannabe. She's pathetic. She's like kind of an egomaniac. She is this
Mm.
bar with pictures of herself everywhere from like 25 years ago. And then and his character's really flawed. So it's all these flawed people that come together, but then find
Mm.
where they're not flawed and where they do for one another. And that's the story.
Yeah. So this might be a loaded question then, because you're speaking of so many like power words that somebody could say, "Oh, that's the thread, that's the common denominator."
Yeah.
But if there was one thing that you're wanting listeners and you're wanting people that go to watch the film to walk away with, what would that be?
I would want people to walk away with realizing to put their differences behind and get to the core of humanity, which is love and kindness and doing for each other. But
Mm,
also, you know, I always tell my kids, mind, body, spirit. You can't be
mm,
so you got to be balanced. So these are people that learn balance by learning, by listening to each other, by
mm.
listening and hearing and adjusting and loving. It's
Yeah.
really a story about love.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's funny when AMC and Regal picked us up, they said, Siobhan, how do we describe this? And I said, well, the easy part is it's a story about a prisoner with 10 days left to live and his unconventional relationship with a washed up country singer. But then they have to put it into a genre. And they're like, Siobhan, we have to put comedy drama because it's so darn funny at the beginning
Uh-huh.
and it's funny throughout, but then it knocks you your socks off with heartache.
Yeah. Wow. And I don't know too many people that can pull it off like that, but you can. So
Well,
this is
Gordie,
exciting.
I'm telling you right now, I swear to God, I feel that this is a gift. I
Hmm.
feel like, I don't feel cocky or, think I'm some like, oh, look what I did. I feel like I was given the opportunity to use my gifts and to find people that were talented and
Yeah.
come together to create this whole story. And the director, Vibeke Messiah from Denmark, did an amazing job. Our editors from France, Sabina Meliani, she edited March of the Penguins and fabulous movies.
Mm.
Our cinematographer for Matthias Schubert, he's unbelievable. And all the actors and all the crew were all part of this. See, I
Yeah.
don't believe in the Hollywood. I don't believe in the Hollywood hierarchy in film. Like they'll say,
Mm.
"Are you above the line or below the line?" And that means, well, for anybody who like Dr. Seuss, the star belly sneeches and the non-star belly sneeches, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, are you cooler than me and you make more money than me? Are you below?" It's all baloney to me. To me, it's
Mm.
like my father used to say, "The play's the thing," because I did a lot of theater first. And each person on that set and each actor, know how big or small their parts are, is so important to the story.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's powerful. Yeah, I got so inspired. Everything that you're dropping right here, it's reminiscent of a TEDx talk that I remember you sharing on the
Oh
East
yeah,
Coast.
yeah.
Yeah, and so this is wonderful. Faith, family, friends, I believe is what it was
Faith,
dubbed.
family, friends, and
Yeah.
and now we go faith, family, friends, and charity, because
Mm.
my character is doing acts of she is so kind to this prisoner, but then I won't give it away. But then he's so kind to her. I mean, she's
Mm.
never had a normal relationship in her life. It's so ridiculous to have someone of my age thinking, oh, I'm going to hook a man through looks or
Sure.
just the wrong path.
Yeah.
My husband always said to my kids, like the Robert Frost poem, the two roads diverge into one, and I took the road less traveled.
Mhm.
So, this prisoner was a town hero, and
Mm.
so he teaches. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's wonderful.
I can't wait for people to see Peter Macon in this. He's unbelievable.
Mm.
Peter Macon was on this TV show Orville, but really he played Othello all over the world. He is a consummate actor. He's a young James Earl Jones. His voice alone, his performance is so powerful. Robert Patrick's performance is unbelievable. And Robert, talk
Mm.
about a great American. This guy
Right.
rides Harley around the United States going to see vets. I mean, these people that I worked with, I'm humbled.
Mhm.
Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer Simpson. My son Peter plays an incredible young guy, Chris, in it. My daughter Sinead is in it. It's
Mhm.
crazy, and lots of old friends. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of old friends, I mean, the part of the cast, if you would, or the people that were, a part of this, the locals from the 1979 class, right, of
Oh yeah.
Casanova High School.
So when people watch it,
Yeah.
in addition, Patty Scanlon, who I've been friends with for 35 years, she plays my best friend in it. So
Okay.
the extras I put out on to my class of 79 to show how old I am. Hey, who wants to be an extra in this bar scene? In this bar from upstate New York that's this fabulous that everybody's gone to since we were kids, the Blue Canoe, fabulous food too. And one by one, everybody's like, I'm in, I'm in. People came from my class from
Wow.
all over. They traveled to come for 2 days, 16-hour days.
Mhm.
I said, bring your own cowgirl, cowboy hats. And yeah, we basically had the time of our lives for 2 days.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was
That's so
amazing.
cool. Yeah, that is cool. Speaking of anything else up on the horizon, I wanna also give you an opportunity. Do you have anything else that's in the works that you wanna share about that's gonna be coming?
You know what? I'm 3/4 of the way through writing another one, but I will be in this movie that's coming out in December with Anne Hathaway and Thomasin McKenzie called Eileen. That was a big hit at
Okay.
Sundance this year. That William Oldroyd directs. So that's coming out in December. I play like a Boston, and what's really funny? Another woman. I work at a prison guard. I'm not a prison guard, but I work at a prison. I'm really mean secretary, and I'm like, yeah, come on, I take out my bag of tricks and my accents. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, you do.
Shelter in Solitude, Southern. The one coming up is Boston. My kids are like, "Why don't you ever play yourself?" I'm like, "I don't want to do that."
Yeah.
Oh, and Rushed, which people should. It's funny now that people have seen Shelter in Solitude at these festivals and the sneak
Mhm.
peek premieres. They're like the rentals of Rushed have gone way up
That's
because
cool.
they're now, it's back on the map. So
Right. Yeah, they're
yeah,
starting to see it. That's what's
yeah.
up. Well, Siobhan, this has been phenomenal. Thank you so much for joining
Gordie,
me.
thanks so much. And I got to tell you, it is majorly on my bucket list because when I was in fifth grade, we each got to pick a state, and I'm totally Irish, so I picked Idaho because I love potatoes. and I made a relief map. And if I had I'm the worst artist you've ever seen, but I could draw Idaho now. And I've always wanted to go there. And it's going to be at the Regal in Boise, but it's also going to be at the Madison Theater in Madison. And Kelly Brown over there, she played Rushed. So I have such a place in my heart for people from Idaho because she really supported me when that came out. And Gordie, I really, really thank you so much. And just make sure everybody, they're on sale now for AMC. My son's giving me the hand over there, like, slow it down, Mom. Slow it on down. Say it slower. AMC Regal, October 6th. Get out there and support it. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. God bless all of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow Siobhan on Instagram go ahead and drop the username.
At Siobhan Fallon Hogan, which is SIOBHAN Fallon Hogan. Also follow the movie at Shelter in Solitude and Facebook Shelter in Solitude as well. Thanks so much.
That's what's up. Thank you so much. You heard that. October 6th, Regal Cross. If you're in the Boise and the Treasure Valley area, make sure you go cop your ticket. You're going to want to do that. But guess what? We're going to leave you with a little bit of a preview of what Shelter in Solitude is. So until next time, we'll catch you then.
No, but seriously, y'all, I'm going to miss you all so much. 2 weeks without seeing your faces. And I want to tell you something. I love y'all, and I want to say God bless you during this time. Hit it. Please pronounce your Lord Jesus. Help me be a better person.
How you doing there, Valerie?
What's all this?
Putting up your barricade.
That's horse shit. Hello.
We ain't gonna let you in if you buy some weed. Something.
I'll buy a perk. Also bless my poor brother Dwayne. Please tell him not to be such a bastard.
Call the governor's secretary, have her post a position for a death row prison guard.
Go do God's work, Valerie.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Hey, what the hell are you doing?
Going to work just like you.
This ain't a nightclub.
Really? I couldn't help but notice.
Good God.
Who the hell do you think you are? I should be ashamed of myself. You think you're so perfect because you're the warden?
Good morning, Mr. Jackson. I got your new guard here. Her name is Valerie.
Sir.
I remember his trial and we all cheered.
Fear is punishment.
I'm not saying we're friends, but I read an article. They said you was the hero. She ever visit you? I told him, I said, I cannot sit here all day in silence.
What'd he say?
He didn't say a word, not a word.
You don't think it makes me sick to my stomach knowing that in 8 days I gotta put him to his death?
I ask your Lord Jesus to protect my daughter.
Me and you were raised to bend the rules.
You are a man.
Now you bend them.